What is going on, guys? G-Harp here. Today I want to talk about a topic that really is come to the forefront in the past week or so. We've got a lot of reporting about it, and that is that Halo is looking like it's making the jump to PlayStation and the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, this has been reported in Forbes initially. It's gotten so far as it's actually just gotten reported in IGN. I'm going to bring up that article here to show you guys what that looks like because when it was in Forbes, it was looking like it was probably going to happen, but now that we have actual video game reporters instead of just Paul Tassi reporting on this too, it's looking maybe even more legit than it was before. Now, this is all stemming from something that Nate the Hate put out on his podcast that reportedly the Master Chief Collection is coming to both the Nintendo Switch and even the PlayStation 5. Now, if you guys aren't aware, the Master Chief Collection was initially on the Xbox and then came out on PC. It was kind of a cluster when it first started, if anybody remembers back then. It was broken, it didn't work, but 343 and now Halo Studios have done a great job getting it to a point now where it is a great game. It's a good product. You can play a lot of things. Now, it definitely does have its problems. There's a bunch of cheaters still, and things can get a little bit weird in that way, but overall the package is pretty legit. Halo CE, Halo 2, Halo 2 Remake, Halo 3, Halo ODST, Halo 4 are all part of the package, which is really, really nice. And let's say you're a Nintendo fan or a PlayStation fan, you probably may have never even had a chance to play any of these games. So this news is pretty insane, really, when you think about it. But all it's saying is that this kind of all aligns with Microsoft's push for making more of their things multi-platform. They seem to be kind of going away from the insistence on selling hardware as much and using games to sell hardware, where they're using Game Pass to try to kind of juice those numbers where the hardware sales used to make up for them. Now, Game Pass, I think it's a great deal. $20 a month, as many games as you want. There's a lot of games on there. It kind of makes sense, for Microsoft, where a lot of their money comes from subscriptions anyway. If you think about Microsoft Word or the Office suite of products or their AI features that, maybe don't work that well, but they sell a lot in that way. So having things go multi-platform and using Game Pass to kind of push that seems to be the way that they're going. Now, as a Halo fan, I think this is actually a good thing to push MCC multi-platform. One of the reasons being is that if you've been in the scene a while, you know that the population for these games have gone down, and that's both MCC and Halo Infinite. So if we just take a look at MCC, and this is Steam, this is not Xbox, so there's obviously a lot more people playing on Xbox, but if we just look at the Steam charts, 5,800 peak for MCC. If we look at Infinite, it's a 3,700 peak on Steam. So the interest is not there as much, and if we push this to multi-platform, especially with the release of Nintendo's next console, which we're assuming is the Switch 2 at this point. We're recording this on the 15th of January 2025. We're assuming it's a Switch 2 at this point. But if you just look at the hardware sales for the Switch, the initial Switch, there's a lot of people that this could eventually be playing Halo that maybe not have done it before. One thing to think about in when you're kind of thinking about if this is a good idea or not is what are the people who haven't experienced Halo, and can you get people into it? Because really, if you think about it, the core Halo fan, with Halo CE coming out around 2001, somewhere in that, I don't remember exactly, 2001 to 2002, somewhere in that area, there's a generation of players that have maybe never played Halo. A lot of millennials, it's one of their first games. If you look at any of the COD pros, you look at any of the pros that still play Halo, pros from a lot of different games, they all started in Halo. And that's kind of the millennial generation, but the Gen Z generation and Gen Alpha, like the younger generations, they really haven't experienced Halo, and they maybe not have had an opportunity to, because if you look at hardware sales, Xbox got blown out last generation, so the Xbox One generation got blown out by the PS4 and Switch, and the same thing's happening now. There's a report that came out, they're getting outsold 5-1, PlayStation 5 to Xbox Series consoles. So it only makes sense for Microsoft to take their biggest franchises and try to get them to a larger audience, because although that exclusivity may sell less hardware, from a pure sales perspective and pure business perspective, in which Microsoft, that's really all they think about, it makes sense. And as a Halo fan, I think it makes sense too, because we want more people into the scene. We want new generations of people playing Halo. We want to bring in the younger generations that maybe haven't had an opportunity before, get them into the series, and then that cascades down to everything else. So let's say we get Halo MCC, maybe Halo Infinite too, on these other consoles. By the time your next main Halo is being released, it's probably going to be multi-platform too, especially with the change to Unreal Engine 5. So you could be seeing a whole generation of players who really haven't had the reason or the ability or even the thought to play Halo coming into the mainline Halo game and, surging that population back into Halo. Because if you've played MCC or if you've played Halo Infinite, a lot of that story's there. A lot of the multiplayer is a lot of fun. You get people involved, the people engaged in that, and they're going to be looking out for the next Halo. They're going to be looking for it, just like people do with COD every year. They've been experienced with it. They've been playing it for years, and if you've had some experience with it, it just creates a more influence on people to maybe get the next one. So I think there might be a little bit of short-term pain here because it goes from exclusive to Xbox to more multi-platform. But at the end of the day, if you care about Halo as a product and as something, as a franchise that we want to see continue on as best way we can, I think multi-platform is the way to go. Just to get the exposure out there, to get more people into the community. And, the more people that play it tells Microsoft, let's put more money into Halo. Let's get things out. Let's not release another game without all of the features that didn't even have a Team Slayer playlist at the beginning of Halo Infinite, as insane as that sounds. So trying to get them more resources, trying to keep them from making the mistakes they did with Halo Infinite, and giving them a reason to make it such that happens, I think that's a win for everybody involved. Definitely a win for Halo, I think. And, if your fandom's tied to Xbox, I can see why this may be an issue for you. But at the end of the day, this is kind of how the way things are going. A lot of things are turning subscription-based. And if we want to get our product out there, we want Halo to get back on top, and we want the next game to be awesome, I think this is a step in the right direction. But those are just my thoughts. What do you guys think? Do you think Halo should stay just on the Xbox, or do you think it should go multi-platform? Let me know in the comments. Appreciate you guys